decision looming that could impact hundreds of families. Atlanta Public Schools leaders weighing the possibility of closing or repurposing some schools. The district says it has to do with enrollment in aging buildings.
Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond is live at Atlanta Public Schools. So, Sarah, they're looking for community input here.
They are. The district has a number of public meetings scheduled. One of those virtual meetings happening tonight so parents can weigh in on the future of their children's education. Now, Atlanta Public Schools says they need to look at overcrowded schools, underutilized campuses, and aging facilities through their long-range facilities plan. The average age of their buildings here is close to 60 years old. Now, one of the people in charge of helping them make this plan says while APS is budgeted for 70,000 students, they're only filling out about 50,000 seats. So they're looking at some possible closures or repurposing some buildings. And during a previous meeting, Superintendent Dr. Brian Johnson says he knows the possibility of changing where children go to school is not an easy conversation to have.
We want to be clear that nothing is decided. This is a very difficult, frankly, conversation. Not one, I'll be abundantly clear, not one I want to have, but one that we responsibly have to have.
Now, there are 2 virtual meetings today and 2 more tomorrow. Each one is based on a different region. There's also an in-person meeting specifically about overutilized high schools on Wednesday at Midtown High School. And over the summer, the district says they've already received about 3,700 online survey responses. The district says they hope to have a proposal done by November so the school board can vote in December. Live at Atlanta Public Schools, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.